Last of Us, a game that was released like less than a decade ago on PS3 by Naughty Dogs. Is a remake really necessary?
That's a good, awesome question, really. I mean, it's one of the most regarded games, I guess to say ever, really.
Story wise,
Like
yeah,
it's you say
it's
Last
one of
of Us,
my
people
yeah,
know it, and this
it's
and that, right?
my like top two.
But it is a good question though. Like, what do you do with a game like this that legitimately, arguably to people, is a masterpiece?
Yeah,
Like, okay, it still performs well on the
yep,
PS4. You know, after the remasters, this and that, it still looks good. What do you do? I
yeah.
mean, are you just going to sit there
It's
and utilize the PS5's power, which again, it'd be great? Are you going to fix the combat? You know, from like Last of Us 2's combat was very nice and
yeah,
fluid, dynamic. Like it had a good feel to it. It could still be tweaked a little bit more on
yeah,
like, something like that's very reactive. Like Returnal is a great
yeah.
example. Those controls are just great. Like that gameplay, your character movements, everything are great. A new engine. I mean, I would be all about the Sony Tempest sound
Yeah.
being used on Last of Us. I think that would literally benefit the most out of a game like this because what are you supposed to do with it? You have this game that the story is
Well,
phenomenal, the
yeah.
characters are already
What more do
phenomenal.
you want to add? Like,
Yeah. Other than making it look pretty,
yeah.
like don't get me wrong, it'll come out, I'll buy it
Oh, but
because
yes, exactly. Like,
but it's one of those games where it's I don't know, it's
I'd love to see it
what
on on the next gen consoles, like the
yeah.
graphically, like just to see what they can add to it to make it even that much better as a remake.
Yeah, like just everything, even like particle effects if they
Yeah,
use or lighting or hearing the creeper sound. Like I think the biggest thing for me when you ask is it necessary? No, but it's something I would play because I would like to hear it.
well, with it already being like touched so many times, like touched up so many times for the last gen consoles, like that's my whole thing with it is, do I really want to, as much as I love the game, love the story, do I keep on wanting to play that same thing, like same story, over and over to the point where it gets to be like Spaceballs, a story that I love. Like it has that meaning to me, but I've seen it so many times, or I played it so many times
Yeah,
that it doesn't have that effect, or it becomes just I can't do it anymore. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like
I do because I'm that way
I
with Dumb
haven't
and
been
Dumber.
away from it long enough to where
Yeah,
I'm not surprised, or it's like
when you can recite the entire movie,
exactly,
it kind of
yeah,
loses that, but you'll still watch it. But it's like not that
well,
first time you did. Like I said, Dumb and Dumber, I can recite the
yeah.
movie. If it's on TV, I'll throw it on for
I'll
why
throw it
not.
on, but
But
it's
I
I'm not
won't.
invested.
No, I'm not invested at
Yeah,
all. Nor will I go to my Blu-rays and be like, "Oh, we're gonna watch
yeah,
Dumb and
exactly.
Dumber
I'm not
today."
gonna pull it out
Yeah.
because it's as soon as I do,
Well,
I put it on. I already know
that's the
the
thing, though.
whole
Like,
story.
as fans of Last of Us, the Last of Us series, sorry, as yes, I would like to play something in that universe again.
Yeah,
Like, you know, Last of Us Two, as a lot of people know, I thought was great gameplay, great all this,
yeah,
but the story just kind of it wasn't impactful enough for me as the first one was. It drew me. I didn't couldn't get immersed enough.
yeah,
So of course I would like to see The Last of Us Three
yeah,
in the future. Hopefully pick up from Last of Us One and that intensity,
yeah.
that feeling you get playing that game. Like I can remember playing Last of Us and just being like, okay, whatever, I'm finally gonna play it, etc., etc. And I don't think I put the controller down until the session was over. Like the credits were rolling. I
Yeah.
think I sat there for the 10 hours and just was like, whoa. At the end of it, one of the rare times in a video game that I watched all the cutscenes.
Yep.
I was emotionally, I guess, invested in the characters to
Yeah.
see what was going to happen next. And the ending was just a very climactic ending for me. Where I'm like, oh shit.
It was I was invested the whole way through. I knew
Yeah,
every part. I read every note.
yeah,
It was one of those rare video games. I was, and I'm still invested in it,
very
but
much so.
I just don't want it to become too
Well, that's the thing, though. It's what would you do
Yeah.
to make a remake as
make it
impactful? Because I get it, okay.
Well, to make it different,
But as
mean the
fanboys, a lot
same.
of people don't want to see it remade for whatever reason. I am all about remakes, movies, video games. I'm all about them because it's a different person's perspective on
Yeah.
something, that their iteration of it, whatever it be. It's their
Yeah.
take on something. Cool. So that part, awesome. If the gameplay is awesome, the combat's awesome, the enemies are awesome, I can forgive a bad story. But this is a story that's not a bad story in the first place. So what are you supposed to do with a game like this? Do you go word for word what the story was on the original? Or are you going to have another take on a few things and kind of manipulate the story, cut and paste things here, there? And at that point in time, it could make it better. It could.
Yeah.
It might have filler that we didn't see before, this and that. But it could also do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
And a game like this, I hate to say it, like as a fan of The Last of Us series, this game comes out, it's going to have such high expectations that I don't think it can live up to it, because you're going to have your haters that don't want to see a remake made in the first place. But, and here comes the whole different part of this focus, as fans of the game, to the business side. Hell yeah.
Business wise,
This is a genius move, just because, you know what? You got an HBO miniseries coming out. You have fans, like younger fans that never didn't play Last of Us 1, or the fans that, even though they can play it, they don't want to play older games because the new generation wants to play newer games.
The graphic,
There's everything about it, and I'm not as invested. They want to play, top of the line games at this time frame. Oh, it's 8 years old. Oh, that's ancient. I don't want to touch it. With this Last of Us miniseries coming out, all of a sudden it's like, look what Witcher Netflix series did for the Witcher sales. Through the roof. So you're going to have another set of people that will love or hate the show. But, let's put a game out just after it, or while it's on, whatever it be, whatever the release dates they're looking at it for. Well, those sales are automatically going to sell. You're going to have a huge number of sales for Last of Us Remake, and a game that legitimately, like I said, we don't know what they're doing with it. Are they changing enough? Like, even, for example, like motion captures. Are they using pre-existing ones? Are they going to not? They have character models already.
Why are they going to base it off of the TV show? In that sense,
that's the other part too.
You know what I mean?
Is it going to have influence from the show, or is it just going to be legitimately straight from the actual game? So that's where I think it's going to get, without the information for this game. It's like, all we know, hey, we want to do a remake of Last of Us.
But do you think it's too safe to bring back Last of Us 1, even if it's for the TV show, because it's going to sell? Like, that's it's not like it's. It's not going to sell. It is.
It's going to sell.
You're going to make your money.
It's going to sell. It's going to sell. But
is it too safe? Like, is there Last of Us 3? Why aren't we focusing a little more on that?
Well, see, the thing, I think, honestly, with The Last of Us 3, I think they had, like, a pre-script of Last of Us 3, but they were expecting, again, I'm not verbatim on anything, it's my opinion. I just think that with the mixed reviews of it, I think it's like, okay, we need time to go back to the drawing board, and this is something we can kind of shoot out a little bit. Where it's going to make us money. Regardless, it's making us money. Like I said, even production-wise, you have the concepts there. You have a lot of the production already pre-done for a type of game like this. Well, let's just now make it look pretty. Let's just make it sound pretty. So you are taking away a lot, unless, like you said, they're going to base it on the show. So I don't know. Like, it's, for me, the only thing that honestly with that whole thing is weird is it's still Naughty Dog remaking their own original game. Right? Like, I don't know how I feel, if that's cool or if it's not, because you're still going to have the influence from the original. But this could have been. This could also be
me because of our first.
But that's, I mean, this could be one of those situations though, where exactly, like, we wanted to put this in the PS3 version. It didn't have enough power. We couldn't do it, and now all of a sudden we're giving you guys the game you want, and this could all of a sudden be mind blowing, like a masterpiece plus 10. Like, who knows? Like, we don't know until we play it. I just think that on a business side, hell yeah. As a fan, I would have thought they would have waited until, you drop Last of Us 3. So that would be the PS5 generation still. And as the PS5 turns into the PS6 generation, that's when you have a
Yeah,
remake
then
come
you
out
bring a
to
remake.
bridge the console gap in between the next ones. Because if you're doing a Last of Us 1 remake,
Yeah.
does that mean you're going to be doing a Last of Us 2 remake?
Yeah.
You're already planning on it type thing? Like, I mean, we've seen things happen with Resident Evil and Capcom. Like Resident Evil 2 remake was great.
Yeah.
Even Resident Evil 3 it was a great game, right? It was short but great. So I don't know. I just it's one of those things where it's really hard to judge things
For
because you
me,
want to play, but you don't know.
for me, it's of course I want to play it. Like it's the fan, the fan of the series is like, oh yes, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary, but it's the logical part of me is like it's
Just
keeps
play
on
it.
going back to Spaceballs. It's like I don't want to lose that
Yeah.
passion, that investment,
Yeah.
that love for it to the
just-
extent where I can't play it. I can't just sit there and like get lost in it because it's a story like I know like the back of my hand.
Yeah, like you just played it
It's-
not
yeah,
too long ago.
I'd rather
like,
see something like an older game, like from PS1 generation, or like the PlayStation generation.
Yeah.
Like it's
If
so
we're-
like
if we're in an age of remakes, we've said this before. Why haven't they brought back the Twisted Metal franchise? Like, why not? You know,
remake
like
it. Yeah.
exactly remake something like that, which is like a different style of game right now that we don't have that many of. Like, you know, there are a couple like car war type games
Yeah.
where you do it, but nothing comes back to the originals of, you know, Road Trip
Yeah.
or Twisted Metal. You know, what are other games like Siphon Filter?
Siphon-
I remember you
yeah.
were talking about Siphon Filter going, you know, there's talks always about the Metal Gear games, this and that.
Yeah.
Well, if we're going to go back into that stealth action genre, bring back Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
You know, I even went one step further before and said, again, like, what happened to Resistance?
Yeah.
Why not get that IP back up and going? Like, it was great for a series. And again, back to the graphical part of what the power of the PS5 can do.
There were limitations back then. What could you?
Yeah, like you're watching these monsters now, and it's like, okay, they look badass.
Yeah.
On the PS3, they still look badass. Like, you can make these games look so much better if you're looking to remake something. But again, that's the fan in me. It's like,
Well, it's the fan in me, but it's also like I don't. It's the fear of losing that passion for the series. Like, yes, it's necessary business wise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a safe bet. It's legit, like one of your safest bets that you can make.
Mm-hmm.
For me personally, is it necessary to like get to like for them to make the remake? No. Like personally, like no. I'd rather see something else. I'd rather them focus a lot more on something else.
exactly. And that's what I mean. It's like, you left us off in Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And again, like, who knows what's going on? Like, they may be rewriting everything they previously had. I don't know. But the fact of, you know, you have a 2022 launch window for Last of Us series. Does this mean the game's going to come before, during, after? And then what happens with Last of Us 3? Are we going to focus on Last of Us 3, or are you going to see what sales are like, do a Last of Us 2 remake, and all of a sudden it's like, well, what happened to the Ellie story now? Like, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? It's, I don't know. I just think it's very confusing for what they've said and what people have, you know, the rumors, this and that going along with it, where it's, we don't know enough. Like, for all we know, it might all of a sudden be like something that Rockstar would do. Like, I don't know, that just Last of Us 3. We didn't do a remake.
Yeah,
It's surprising. You know, it'd be
I
like,
would honestly. I would love that so much more.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is a hard one, though. It really is.
It is
because the fanboy in
it's-
me.
It's basically yes and no,
Yeah.
but it's
Like, I'll.
personal preference.
That's
at
what I
that
mean.
point.
Like, do I want to see a remake? Yeah, I'd love to see, like, you know, the game look better now and utilizing power again of the PS5. And I've mentioned sound. Like, I would love to see the Tempest sound working that. I think that would be awesome. Walking through, like, the basements and all of a sudden hearing the clickers in the background. Like, the way that the sound works is it brings you in. But that's awesome. So I'm going to be more immersed because of the sound and the graphics. But if you're going to take away from the story, and even the part of knowing how the story ends is another factor where it's like, are you going to have that emotional tie to it at this point? Like, we know what's going to happen at the end. We're going to go through the hospital. We're going to make our decision about Ellie. And it's like, I don't know.
What? Yeah. What more? What more could you add to get me to get me to be more passionate, to get me more invested in that franchise again.
That's the thing. At the same time, though, we are looking at it from our perspective,
Yeah.
not looking at it through the perspective of people who've never played the game.
Yeah, exactly.
They get a rejuvenation of the emotional attachment towards it,
Yeah.
right? So that's where I think it's.
But that's why I said it's a personal like it is very personal preference. Like
it is.
It's both yes and no, but it's.
I said my pros and cons are simple. As a business side, I'd be like all about it because you've already got the formula right in front of you. You got the series coming out. Your sales are going to go through the roof. You got a new generation of people that are going to be watching the series and be interested in the game right away. Like that's a no brainer at that point in time. Going like, yeah, this is going to do great.
But how safe can you really be?
That's
like how safe do you
like,
want to be?
This is a company that initially started out making educational games and math game for Christ's sakes, and then they went to doing like Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter. So now all of a sudden it's like, all right, we're gonna switch everything around and turn dark, and we're gonna do the Lost Legacy, Uncharted, The Last of Us games. Like, okay, that's cool. I like that because they do their job well.
But they were bringing out new games.
And now it's going to be a regurgitation of what we've already had. And
I want to see old Sony. Like I want to see old PlayStation. Like that new games, like things I've never played or I haven't heard of. Like I want to see that again. Like instead of focus being on
especially
remake
nowadays
or like remastered stuff like that. Like I want to see more of that. I want to see more new things, new IP, like everything.
Well, or even old, but being brought into like God of War.
I want to see risks.
No, like God of War is a great example. Like we're going from Greek mythology now to Nordic, and it's like wicked, and people are loving it. It was a jump, but it was like, hey, we're taking a chance. It pays off. Like where are they going to go next? And that's what I want to see with The Last of Us too. Where, again, I'm still stuck in the back of my head going, with this next generation of people that might get into the game, it might be great for everybody because they're going to be like, hey, we can expand this a little bit more. Little things like the little things, like even like, oh, you make the remake cool. Now we're going to go back to the online, like the original stuff like that. Like the little things in life where you're like, I just want to play this or I want to enjoy this. But I don't know. Like I said, it's a cut and paste situation to me because it's money wise. Hell yeah. All those things. But as a fan, my investments in the story, I've had that emotional attachment. Will I still play it? Yes. Do I think they'll do a great job on it? I do. But I don't think it's going to be as impactful to somebody like me. Right? And we're like that generation where we didn't grow up with them, but we played the hell out of them. Yeah. And I think that with this generation now, they have so many games coming on all the time that it's going to be oh yeah, it was a good game, put it aside, now we beat it. That's the other thing that's, but sale-wise, yeah, I think they're going to make a killing off it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Definitely. They're going to make money off of me. Like I know this for a fact, but it's...
Yeah.
Are they... Am I going to hate... Like, am I going to... Not hate, but just like...
Oh, I know you're going to go with this. I'm going to say this outright. You want to play a game and hopefully the credits aren't rolling, but you don't want to put the game on and midway through be like, damn it, can this game just be over? I just want to finish it. That's what I'm
going to be skipping those? Am I going to be getting bored? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I said especially because how impactful the original was when I first played it. I don't remember ever playing a game that was just like, oh shit, right from the get-go.
I can't remember a game that I've read all the notes, made sure I found everything. Like I was invested in that story. I wanted to know more.
Yep.
It was always...
It was great.
There's a little note or something's there like, what is this? What is it? Like, what does this mean to the story?
Yep.
I can't remember it.
It was just an amazing experience. And I hope they can transfer that into the remake. And I hope that everybody's conversations about the bad mouthing of it is inane in the end, but we won't know until we play it, right? So
you can't badmouth something you don't know. Like,
exactly. We hope for the best. Yeah. We really just hope for the best as gamers.
Hope for the best, expect the worst, but hope for the best. Yep. Like, what other model can you like really live by? Like kind of thing. Like,
it's true. Yeah. All right.
Well, thanks for the peaceful conversation, brother.
No problem.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one.